You ever wake up exhausted, even though you got a full 8 hours? Or maybe you're pushing yourself hard, grinding in the gym, chasing success at work. But deep down, you're feeling like something's off. You're constantly in motion, always reaching, but never quite arriving. Yeah, I've been there too. Now, picture this. You're walking a tightrope, balancing between two cliffs. On one side, you've got excess, overindulgence, overwork, burnout. On the other side, deprivation, not doing enough, not caring enough, staying stagnant. And every step you take, you're trying to stay in that middle, that perfect balance. If you lean too far in either direction, you fall. So, how do we keep our balance? How do we walk that rope without tipping over? Turns out, two of the greatest minds in history, Buddha and Aristotle, figured this out a long time ago, and their wisdom is more relevant today than ever. Let me tell you a story. Over 2,500 years ago, Buddha sat under a tree, meditating. He had tried both extremes, living in luxury as a prince, indulging every desire, and then swinging the other way, starving himself, denying everything to reach enlightenment. Neither path gave him what he was looking for, until, boom. He had this realization. Balance. It wasn't about cutting out everything or going all in on pleasure. It was about walking the middle path. A life of moderation, where you avoid the traps of extremes. Think about that for a second. It's not about living like a monk, renouncing everything, nor is it about living in constant pursuit of the next dopamine hit. The middle path is the sweet spot. It's where you can enjoy the pleasures of life but not be owned by them, where you can work hard but not burn yourself out. It's about alignment. I mean, we see this in every aspect of life, don't we? Take fitness. You can't train like a maniac every single day without rest. Eventually, your body will break down. But at the same time, if you barely put in the effort, well, nothing's gonna change. That's why Buddha's middle path resonates today. It's about finding that flow, working, resting, enjoying life, but always staying in balance. Now, let's jump to another brilliant mind, Aristotle. This guy was thinking deeply about life, happiness, and what it means to live well. Around 300 years after Buddha, he had a different name for it. He called it the golden mean. And here's the gist of it. Every virtue, courage, generosity, discipline, sits between two vices. On one side, you've got excess. On the other, deficiency. And right in the middle, that's where the virtue lies. Let me break it down. Courage isn't about recklessness. It's not about throwing yourself into danger without a second thought. But it's also not about being too cautious, too afraid to take any risks. True courage, it's the balance. Knowing when to step up and when to hold back. That's the golden mean. And look, this applies to everything. Think about ambition. If you have no drive, you're stuck. You go nowhere. But if you let ambition consume you, you end up sacrificing everything, your health, your relationships, just to reach that next goal. And when you get there, is it even worth it? That's why Aristotle's golden mean is so powerful. It teaches us to stay grounded, to find the right amount of everything in our lives. So, how do we apply this? How do we live these ancient truths in our modern, fast-paced world? I'll tell you. It starts with a mindset shift. A realization that life isn't about going all in on one thing at the expense of everything else. It's about knowing when to push and when to pull back, when to enjoy and when to let go, when to work hard and when to rest. Picture yourself standing at a crossroads. One road leads to overwork, always grinding, never stopping. The other, it leads to inertia, doing nothing, letting opportunities slip by. But in the middle, that's where you want to be. That's where you thrive. And you can apply this to every area of your life. Take your physical health, for example. You don't need to spend hours in the gym every day, pushing yourself to the point of exhaustion. That's just going to break you down over time. But you also can't sit on the couch all day and expect results. The key? Balance. Train hard, but recover harder. Push yourself, but listen to your body. That's where real progress happens. That's the middle path. Same goes for nutrition. We've all seen those extreme diets. People cutting out entire food groups, fasting for days, or obsessively counting every single calorie. But that's not sustainable. And on the flip side, mindlessly eating junk food whenever you feel like it? That's not helping, either. Buddha's middle path in nutrition? It's about eating in a way that fuels your body and satisfies your soul. You can enjoy your meals, savor your food, but keep it balanced. No need for guilt, no need for extremes. And what about your mental health? This is where Aristotle's golden mean really shines. Overworking yourself into the ground may feel productive in the moment, but long-term, it's going to wear you down. You'll lose that spark, that creativity. On the other hand, too much rest, too much Netflix, too much scrolling through your phone leaves you feeling unfulfilled, empty even. The golden mean teaches us to find that rhythm, work with purpose, rest with intention. And when you strike that balance, that's where clarity comes in. That's where you start to feel alive again. The beauty of Buddha's middle path and Aristotle's golden mean is that they aren't about denying yourself or going to extremes. They're about living with intention. Every choice you make, every action you take should serve your growth, not drain you, not leave you burnt out. So, I want you to think about your own life for a minute. Where are you feeling out of balance? Where are you pushing too hard or not enough? And how can you start walking that middle path, finding that golden mean, to live with more peace, more energy, more vitality? Now that we've explored the wisdom of balance from Buddha and Aristotle, let's talk about how you can start applying this in your life right now. Because let's be real, this isn't some abstract feel-good theory. It's practical. It's real. It's the kind of wisdom that can transform the way you live, if you're willing to embrace it. Let's start with your physical health. I know a lot of you out there are grinding in the gym, pushing yourself to the limit every day. And hey, I get it. I've been there too. But here's the thing. Your body can only take so much. There's a fine line between progress and burnout. If you keep pushing without letting your body recover, you're eventually going to hit a wall. Injuries, fatigue, loss of motivation, they all creep in when you're out of balance. So, what's the solution? You've got to find that sweet spot. Train hard, but don't forget to rest just as hard. You've got to recover. It's like charging your phone. If you keep running it down to zero and never fully recharge, it's going to die on you when you need it the most. Same thing with your body. Incorporate rest days, prioritize sleep, and nourish your body with the right foods. Your muscles need time to rebuild, to grow stronger. Over time, this balance, it's what's going to keep you going longer, stronger, and healthier. Now, when it comes to nutrition, the middle path is gold. Think about all the extreme diets out there, cutting out carbs, fasting for days, or obsessing over every single calorie. Yeah, they might work for a little while, but they aren't sustainable. The truth is, your body craves balance. You need carbs for energy, proteins for muscle repair, fats for brain function. It's all about getting the right mix. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to enjoy a slice of pizza, a burger, or a dessert every now and then. Balance isn't about punishing yourself or feeling guilty every time you enjoy food. It's about making choices that nourish you most of the time, while still leaving room for the things you love. A balanced approach to eating will not only fuel your body, but it'll fuel your mind, giving you more energy, more focus, and, yeah, more vitality. Now let's talk about something that often gets overlooked, your mental health. In today's world, there's this constant pressure to hustle, to keep grinding no matter what. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for ambition. But when does it cross the line? When does it go from being driven to being obsessed? If all you're doing is working, pushing yourself day and night, you're going to hit burnout, and fast. You'll lose that spark, the thing that got you fired up in the first place. But here's where Aristotle's golden mean kicks in. It's all about finding that balance between work and rest. You need to work with intention. When you're focused, be all in. But you also need to rest with intention. That means stepping away from the screen, unplugging from the grind, and allowing your mind to recharge. Because here's the thing. When you give yourself that space to breathe, to reflect, you come back sharper, more creative, and more alive. It's the same with your emotions. Life's a roller coaster. We all know that. You're going to feel highs and lows, happiness and anger, fear and love. But if you let your emotions control you, you'll always feel like you're at the mercy of the world around you. Buddha talks about this, how the middle path is not about denying your emotions, but about finding peace within them. When you're in balance, you're not being pulled too hard in any one direction. Take anger, for example. We've all been there, right? Someone cuts you off in traffic, your boss gives you a hard time, and boom, your blood starts to boil. But if you let anger take over, it consumes you. You lose control. On the other hand, if you bottle it up, if you suppress it, it builds inside of you like a pressure cooker. And one day, it's going to explode. The balance is finding that middle ground, feeling your anger, acknowledging it, but not letting it own you. The same goes for fear. Fear can paralyze you, keep you stuck in place, but too little fear, and you become reckless. Balance means having the right amount of caution, while still moving forward, still taking action. Here's the thing. Buddha and Aristotle weren't just talking about finding balance in one area of life. They were talking about all of it. It's holistic. It's your physical health, your mental health, your emotional well-being. And when you strike that balance, when you walk that middle path, when you live in that golden mean, you create space for real, lasting growth. But here's the kicker. Balance isn't a destination. It's not something you achieve once and you're done. It's a daily practice. Every day you have to make choices that bring you back to balance. Some days you're going to tip too far in one direction. That's okay. The key is recognizing it and making the adjustments to center yourself again. Let me leave you with this. Life is always pulling us in 1,000 different directions. The world tells you to go faster, do more, achieve bigger, consume more. But true vitality, peak vitality, comes from knowing when to pause, when to slow down, and when to push forward. It comes from finding your balance in every moment, every decision. So, ask yourself, where are you out of balance right now? Is it in your work, your relationships, your health? Whatever it is, you have the power to shift, to realign, to bring yourself back to center. You don't need to live in the extremes. You don't need to burn out, to break down, to give up. You just need to find your middle. This is the path to vitality. This is the wisdom of Buddha, the insight of Aristotle, and this is the key to living your best life. So, what's your next move? How will you bring balance into your life today?